Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby is not a glittering celebration of the jazz age, nor is it a simple story of an unrequited romance. It is a terrifyingly precise deep dive into the illusions of social mobility. It is a brutal demonstration of what happens when a low-born man attempts to bypass generations of aristocratic privilege by converting a mountain of dirty money into a ticket to an elite paradise. Too many readers treat this novel as the tragic romance of a self-made billionaire who sacrificed everything for the woman he loved. Today, we strip away that superficial sentimentality. We will look at this masterpiece through an unflinching lens to see how an ordinary boy from the North Dakota dirt orchestrated his own spiritual and social execution. How an ordinary boy from the North Dakota dirt orchestrated his own spiritual and social execution. Our tragedy begins not with a greeting, but with an obsessive gaze directed at a distant green light. The protagonist, Jay Gatsby, was born James Gatz, a penniless boy from a family of shiftless farm laborers. He possessed an extraordinary, dangerous capacity for illusion. He reinvented himself entirely, changing his name, altering his past, and eventually amassing a staggering fortune through bootlegging and illegal bond trading during the madness of Prohibition. He buys a colossal, cinematic mansion that looks like a feudal castle and fills it every weekend with the glittering elite of New York. But this entire multi-million-dollar circus is built for an audience of one. Every drop of champagne, every jazz chord, and every silk shirt is a calculated flare sent into the night sky, designed to attract the attention of Daisy Buchanan, the aristocratic girl he loved and lost 5 years ago, who now lives directly across the bay. He thinks he can buy back the past. He thinks his money has made him an equal to the gods. The barrier standing between Gatsby and his dream is not distance. It is a genetic line called old money. Across the bay in East Lawn lives Tom and Daisy Buchanan. Let us deconstruct the architecture of this couple without the romantic fog. Tom Buchanan is a man whose wealth is woven into the very limestone of the nation. He did not work for his millions, his ancestors did. He is a creature of raw, brutal entitlement, possessing the physical and social power to crush anything that threatens his comfort. Daisy is his perfect counterpart. She is the golden girl, raised in a world where money is not something you display, but something you breathe. When she lost the young, penniless Officer Gatz 5 years ago, she did not wait. She married Tom because Tom represented the absolute, unbreakable security of her own social class. She chose a life of expensive silver, polo ponies, and a marriage built on a mutual understanding of convenience and class protection. Gatsby looks across the water and sees the woman of his dreams. He does not see that Daisy is the apex predator of a closed ecosystem. She is beautiful, she is delicate, but her heart has been thoroughly hollowed out by a lifetime of absolute comfort. She loves the drama of Gatsby's return, but she loves the safety of her inheritance far more. She is a magnificent statue of porcelain, and Gatsby is about to throw his entire life against her pedestal. Through the assistance of the narrator, Nick Carraway, Gatsby finally forces a reunion with Daisy. The reunion is a masterpiece of theatrical awkwardness. Gatsby plays the role of the wealthy gentleman perfectly, presenting his estate, his gardens, and his imported hydroplane like a merchant showcasing his wares. He throws a collection of beautiful English silk shirts across his bed, shades of lavender, apple green, and orange, and Daisy weeps into the fabric, overwhelmed by the sheer, material weight of his devotion. But this is where the cold machinery of social reality begins to breach the fantasy. Daisy does not love Gatsby the man. She loves the intoxicating sensation of being worshipped by a billionaire. Gatsby, on the other hand, is no longer looking at a real woman. He has spent 5 years decorating her image with every romantic scrap in his imagination, building her into a goddess that no human being could ever live up to. His spiritual adultery is now perfectly matched by his social hubris. He demands the impossible. He demands that Daisy go to Tom, look him in the eye, and say, "I never loved you." He does not just want her body. He wants to erase 5 years of human history. He wants to balance the ledger of his past. Completely blind to the fact that Daisy has shared a bed, a child, and a lifetime of class secrets with Tom Buchanan that a bootlegger's gold can never buy. The illusion disintegrates with the sudden, violent finality of a confrontation in a suffocating suite at the Plaza Hotel. Tom Buchanan decides it is time to destroy the interloper. With the precision of an inquisitor, Tom doesn't use weapons, he uses the legal and social record. He exposes Gatsby's entire life, revealing that his Oxford education was a brief military placement, and his wealth comes from a network of illegal drugstores selling bootleg alcohol. The house of cards collapses in the New York heat. Gatsby panics. He loses his calm, aristocratic veneer for a single, fatal second, his face darkening with a raw, criminal rage. And in that second, Daisy looks at him and recoils in horror. She does not see her romantic knight anymore. She sees a dangerous, low-born gangster, an alien entity that threatens the absolute safety of her aristocratic world. The romantic knights of his books have vanished. Daisy retreats into the protective shadow of her husband. The climax arrives in a flash of speeding steel on the journey home. Daisy, driving Gatsby's yellow car in a state of nervous panic, strikes and kills Tom's mistress, Myrtle Wilson, on the dark road through the Valley of Ashes. She does not stop, she flees the scene. And Gatsby, blinded by his loyalty, resolves to take the blame for her. Sitting outside her house in the dark to protect her from Tom, completely unaware that inside the glowing windows, Tom and Daisy are sitting over a cold chicken dinner, conspiring to seal their ranks and leave him with the bill. Gatsby chooses the only exit strategy left for an idealist who cannot face the ledger. He stays in his dream until the end. On a cold autumn morning, he lies on a mattress in his swimming pool, waiting for a telephone call from Daisy that will never come. The leaves are falling, the air is cold, and the grand party is over. And this is where the real gravity of the world delivers its final invoice. Myrtle's grieving husband, George Wilson, a broken man from the Valley of Ashes, thoroughly manipulated by Tom Buchanan, tracks Gatsby to his estate. He believes Gatsby was the driver who killed his wife. A single gunshot shatters the silence of the morning, and the most brilliant illusion of the American dream bleeds out into the turquoise water of a redundant swimming pool. Gatsby dies, and with his death, the true cynicism of the world reveals itself. His grand mansion is abandoned. His hundreds of party guests vanish into the New York fog, and not a single soul from high society attends his funeral. Tom and Daisy Buchanan, the golden couple, simply packed their bags and left town, leaving behind a wake of blood and ruined lives. Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby remains a monumental masterpiece because it refused to grant its characters any romantic redemption. Gatsby was not killed by a grand, tragic destiny. He was killed by his own inability to accept the value of his ordinary origin. He thought he could buy the past with a promissory note, but the machinery of the real world does not trade in metaphors. The ledger must always be balanced, the interest must always be paid, and beneath the polished marble, the champagne fountains, and the silk curtains of civilization, the raw soil of reality is always waiting to bury the dreamers who forgot how to walk on the ground.